Helo a chroeso I podcast rhif 26. Hello and welcome to podcast number 26 of the PGG podcast from 2019. My name's Gareth Evans. This is Mr. Henry Flying Solo Cooper.
People are going to think we've just run the audio backwards for that beginning bit.
Maybe I did. Maybe you don't know.
What if I do run it backwards and it'll say like satanic messages?
I'm only speaking English for the sake of everybody else. I'd do the whole thing in Welsh.
Do it. See if I can manage to have a conversation.
No, that wouldn't happen. So Mr. Henry Flying Solo Cooper, how was last week without me? You managed, apparently.
It was all right.
You kept the ship afloat, and a lot of people said you did some good work.
I'm a fucking champ. That's why.
Oh God.
No,
you don't need me back anymore. I'm out of a job.
Well, only one of those I did sort of have planned, but it was the one that was the most like could have easily gone wrong, because it was like, oh, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is out next week. Next week it's just me. I'll do a gameplay of that. It's out on Friday. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to like buy it in time, because I didn't have time to like pre-order it or anything like that. Pre-ordering's bollocks. So I was like, okay, that's the only one I know I want to do, but if it's not out, or the game store doesn't stock it, or I don't have time to get it, that one plan is fucked.
Yeah, and you were flying by the seat of your pants for the rest of them, but you did a good job, dude. You did a good job, and congratulations. So in today's podcast, we've got a few topics of conversation, a few that we're going to skim over because we're bored with them, like LootBoxes. We got bored with that, so we'll just skim over that one. There's another one. We're also going to talk about an update to the Nintendo Switch issue with the Joy-Cons, which was announced overnight. We're going to be talking about the speculation regarding Disney buying Activision Blizzard, what that's all about. It's a story from a few weeks ago, but we've got a pretty decent conversation around it. We're gonna explore that a little bit. Also talking about the Witcher Netflix. We haven't had a chance to discuss that, but the trailer came out recently. What we think about it, and what our thoughts are about that and everything else. Also, we're taking the Discord questions from the patrons. We've got a couple of weeks worth, although there's only 6 or 7, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's not too many.
And then we'll be taking some YouTube questions, and then we are going to be reading the triggered fanboy comment of the week.
Yeah, if you can find one.
I haven't told them that I haven't found one yet. The problem was that you didn't trigger enough people last week. No one got
triggered. I wasn't attacking anyone.
There was a few triggered comments, but there wasn't enough triggered fanboy comments by the criteria that I like, which is attacking us because they don't like our opinions. I didn't find any of them. It wasn't any of them.
No.
I was disappointed. But anyway, we'll make up for it next week. We had a double bill a couple of weeks ago anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we might be able to find one just suddenly.
Stick with us.
I'm use sure that jingle.
Find one, yeah. Okay, first up, the Nintendo Joy-Con drift issues. So we covered this in a video on Tuesday about them not doing enough to address it, because it's a huge problem. We'd only just dawned on us how big of a problem and how prolific this problem was, and their response was something along the lines of, we are aware of it, we'll just recalibrate your Joy-Cons and then contact support. That was an absolute bullshit response. However, apparently overnight an internal memo has gone round in Nintendo saying customers will no longer be requested to provide proof of purchase for Joy-Con repairs. Additionally, it is not necessary to confirm the warranty status. If a customer requests a refund for a previously paid Joy-Con repair, confirm the prior repair and then issue a refund. So what they're saying basically is they will, if your Joy-Con's out of warranty, they'll fix it for free. If you've already paid previously for a fix, they'll refund you.
Yeah. And
don't question the customers, just accept that there's an issue and do it. So this is a lot better response. This is what you'd expect from a company like Nintendo, who have got a good reputation. I tested this myself. I phoned them this morning and told them about my issue with the drifting. And I wasn't told it would be free, but she did say it was out of warranty. I can ship it to them for free to test it, and then once they diagnose it, if a repair is needed, they will then let me know how much it will cost. They didn't say they're going to charge me, because I'm that leaves, she did state it like that, so it leaves it open to maybe they can offer it for me for free, and then if I don't want to pay for the repair, they'll send it back to me for free. I think that's fair enough. If it comes to the point where they say, yeah, it's drifting, you'll have to pay such and such because it's out of warranty, that's when I'll be annoyed, but I'm not at that point yet. It seems fair. She was very pleasant, it was very nice, there was no barrier, there was no friction or anything. It was pretty good customer service from
pretty good
to my
pretty good.
There you go. That's what we expect. At least pretty good service.
The bare minimum, really. Well, the problem with mine isn't just the drift, and that, as I said in the video, only happens on my right Joy-Cons, but it happens on your left one.
Yeah.
So, occasionally the camera will just start spinning independently, but it's also some of the buttons don't cooperate. But that's only ever if I'm using them like out of dock and in the slidey controller thing,
the slidey controller thing.
Everyone knows what I mean.
The slidey controller thing.
Yeah, or like using them independently. Never happens in handheld mode, and obviously if I'm using a different controller, that's never an issue. So I think that is something to do with the connectivity.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what that is, but the drift happens whenever it feels like it.
A lot of people say that their right Joy-Con disconnects all the time.
Yeah.
So that's
it doesn't even tell me half the time. Sometimes it will blink out, like the lights on the inside will go off, and I'm like, okay, I understand what that problem is. It's still a problem. It's still bullshit. It needs to be sorted, but I know what's happening. Sometimes it just doesn't.
I'm just surprised at the amount of response to our video. The amount of comments saying, this happened to me, this is what I've got. I thought it was just me. I thought my kids, one of them was like, I thought my kids was just breaking them all. It's like we have had 6 or something happen. And, this problem's so common that people weren't aware that people were having the issue. Like it was for me before I saw it in the Kotaku article. And I think it's great that this whole thing was brought to light by the media. I think this is what gaming media is for. This is media in general. It's for highlighting these issues that we're having with products and calling these companies to account, making them do something. They wouldn't be doing this, issuing this statement or internal memo or whatever, or we wouldn't have this standard of service now if it wasn't for the fucking lawsuit that was hanging over their heads.
Really threatened them.
That's got to have something to do with it, right? But how much of that lawsuit happening is to do with Kotaku's coverage in the first place, or whoever covered it in the first place? You've got to say that there's a huge contribution there. Yeah.
The next step is them to officially come out and say something, like Nintendo official Twitter account or something, posting this, because this is just the internal memo sent around to people at Nintendo, which has then been sort of leaked, but sort of just sourced by a outsider from Nintendo, like a third party.
Leaked, as if like they're kind of putting out the flames now. They're trying this is leaked. It's not an official statement, but
because we haven't got an official plan yet, but just
it does well to appease some people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's appeasement.
Some reports coming in saying that that this is accurate, and people are, and the support team are reacting like this in the way that they should be. So that's great. I think I think if they continue with this and they don't just sweep it under the carpet once the headlines go away, if they follow through with this, I think that's great. I think it's the way they should deal with it, and just stop selling the fucking defective ones and look into the problem and fix the shit.
Because I love the Joy-Cons in concept, because you immediately, when you buy the Switch, you have 2 controllers.
Yeah,
because you can play not with every game, but a lot of games with just one, like a Mario Kart or even like a Smash Bros. It's not the best experience.
Well, 2 controllers, they're pretty small, but you think they're £32.50 each if you. If you £65 for 2 of them, £32.50 each, which is the price of a PlayStation controller, 30 odd quid, right?
Yeah.
And then a defective out of the box. Yeah. It's really expensive.
For just one half of a controller. Yes, as I said, it can be used as a single controller, but it's half. Like, you don't have the extra stick or buttons or anything. But at least this is progress.
It's progress, and it's an update. So there we have it. That's where we'll leave it for today. Next up, Disney should get into games by buying Activision Blizzard, according to an investor. This is what an investor says. So this is investment advisor representative Nick Licouris thinks that this might be a good fit for Disney to buy Activision Blizzard. And he works for investment company Gerber Kawasaki. I'm wondering how much of this is because he wants people to be interested in the share prices of Activision Blizzard? Is he just suggesting this out of the blue because he's trying to get the Blizzard Activision Blizzard share prices to move a little bit?
Surely he's not allowed to do that.
This is what these fuckers do. Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah, but there must be something saying he can't drum up interest in a property he has shares with.
I know what I'm talking about. Buy these shares.
I don't know.
I'm a cynical fuck. I'm a cynical fuck. Yeah. I'll always question the motivations, always. But anyway, he thinks that it could be an opportunity for Disney to use some of the characters from its films and TV shows for what? To make more games with Disney property, Disney IP, Disney characters. Is that what he thinks? Like, what games could Activision Blizzard make
that no one else could? Well, like they license it out to anyone.
Well, you don't want EA dealing with anything other than what they've already got, right? So,
I mean, it's certainly possible, but they've given Square Enix the rights to do the Marvel Avengers game, which that's like a big property for Disney, obviously. EA have Star Wars, but to what extent? Because the Lego games still exist, and they are TT Games, Traveller's Tales. They're still producing them without any trouble. There's a new one coming out early next year, I think. The like new revamped collection of all 9 movies. So there's definitely something about their deal with EA, which means they can do other stuff with other people. Yeah,
the Star Wars. I think I know we talked about it a while ago where Microsoft were looking to buy up companies, and we were speculating as to which company would want Microsoft to buy, and they ended up buying Obsidian, and they ended up buying a load of companies. They've got like 13 or so first party companies now, but gaming producers. But if you look at the economics of it, right, Activision's market value is $37 billion, right? So that's how much it would cost to buy them. Disney's market cap, or their value, is $254 billion. So that's a little over 15%, or around 15% of what Disney, the size of Disney, is what they'd have to pay out to buy Activision.
So they've got money to spare. That's for sure.
Yeah, it just gives you a bit of an overview of the scale of things here. And Licura said the upside may be too good to overlook. The global gaming market is projected to generate 152.1 billion revenue this year. Activision Blizzard had one of his highest revenue this year, but they ended up laying off some staff because restructuring or whatever. Bobby Kotick makes his
restructuring his bank balance.
It would be great just for that if Disney buy Activision and then fuck off Bobby Kotick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be out of the frying pan into the fire. I don't really trust Disney that much.
Who's the guy at the top of Disney? Is it Bob Iger? I think that's him. Yeah, I don't trust him, but
I mean, they're all big corporations, and they're all out to get money at the end of the day. So that's what we're talking about here. But it got me thinking, right? If Disney owned Activision Blizzard, they've recently launched this Star Wars world in
theme park.
Disney theme park. Could they make a Call of Duty world?
Call of Duty world.
What else could there be? Like Blizzard, I think a Diablo world.
Something like a
Overwatch world.
Yeah, something like that would be really easy to market because it's all bright colours and recognisable characters. So that'd be quite easy.
I reckon that with the growth of the gaming industry and how big Fortnite is, you walk into shops now and you see Fortnite characters, like season 6 characters. It's like, what the fuck? They're not even not only are they doing Fortnite characters, but they're doing per season now, like little
action figures and
action
stuff.
figures. I'm like, it makes sense that they think about doing some sort of theme park. That's what kids love, right? You get the kids involved, you get the parents to pay the money. So why wouldn't, like going forward, I would love to see more theme park rides based on games. And it got me thinking, who else could Disney buy to make a theme park out of? Now, I'm not thinking about this seriously, and don't start shouting at me because Disney are evil. Nah, don't be buying up my favourite gaming franchise, whatever. This is just a fantasy of mine, right? Let's think about it. Like, what theme parks would you like to see out there, basically? So we had a look at it. Bethesda's a steal at $2.5 billion.
Absolute bargain
compared to, it's like a quarter of a tenth, or less than a tenth, a fifth of the price of Activision, the fifth, not even the fifth, 20th of the price, Activision Blizzard's market value, and you could get a Fallout world out of that, right?
Yeah, Fallout world or an Elder
world.
Scrolls world, a Doom world. I think a Doom world would be amazing because it'd just be so fucking violent.
Yeah.
You know, the log rides when you splash into water at the end and you get away. They'll just do that, but with like blood and guts of like monsters and shit. I think that would be a laugh.
Fallout world would be cool, like a big monster, you know, the thingy claw, what's it called?
Death Claw, that one?
Death Claw monster.
So I don't even play Fallout, no. I think, well, they've got Starfield coming out, and they can just basically do the Star Wars stuff with Starfield.
That'd be cool. They had that promo picture, didn't they, Bethesda, where there was it was like a theme park where there was a couple of slices of it under construction. That'd be cool, like a Bethesda. Yeah,
Bethesda world where you go and do their different things. That could be cool. If Rage wasn't shit, that could be quite fun.
It's just talk about the world. I mean, you don't have to play the game while you're there.
It's true. It would be like just a desert covered in spray paint. That could be quite fun to be in.
Yeah.
I think if Disney could get something like the Destiny brand from Bungie, I think that would be awesome because that's got quite a unique look and vibe. It's a big space sci-fi thing, and I feel like that's so easy to turn into a theme park because it's just spaceship, boom, that's a ride. A different spaceship, there you go, that's another ride. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not a big fan of Destiny, but
neither am I.
I'd probably pass on that.
But I think the world would be cool.
Yeah. How's about this one then? The real world Super Mario World. If they buy
Mario World,
Mario World,
Mario World Land, or Mario Land World. That's my favourite one.
They could buy Nintendo for $44 billion, which is about the same size but cost as Activision Blizzard. Why not do that?
That'd be so. Right, you can go down the pipes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You could smash blocks and shit.
Yeah,
you can even just
Goombas that you can jump on.
Like
and stuff.
When you finish the level, you jump and you slide down the flag. That's great.
I think this is the best one yet. I think this is
Mario
the best
Land
one.
World or Mario World Land or
Super Mario World.
Yeah, Super Mario World. It'll rock your world.
So that's our third one. Okay, the next one here is Ubisoft at a mere 3.69 billion. That's a fraction of the rest of them. Ubisoft, you could have so many decent worlds there. Assassin's Creed
I think
world.
An Assassin's Creed one would be cool.
Watch Dogs world.
Yeah, especially with the new one because it's all like bright lights and sort of cyberpunky.
Yeah.
I think an Assassin's Creed one could be cool because you could it would just be like a standard roller coaster, but you could build it like you're going through like an ancient city, like free running through, going up the buildings and shit. I think that could be quite fun.
Yeah. So the other one here, right? Take-Two, 13 billion, half or a quarter of the price, a third of the price even of Activision Blizzard or Nintendo. But you could have a real Westworld world in Red Dead Redemption 2 world, right?
Yeah,
a real live Westworld world where you could have robots and stuff. That in itself is worth looking at, Disney. At least, come on.
But I feel like with Red Dead as a cowboy piece of fiction, it's very realistic, and the real world theme park of cowboys like, I'm shoveling horse shit. I've got to clean my horse and all that. But it could be cool.
It could be cool.
Take-Two, are they the ones that own 2K? Yeah. So then you could have a Borderlands world.
Yeah. So
Borderlands world. That's easy. Just run through. Oh, there's loot everywhere.
You'd have to buy Gearbox though, because I think they're only getting published by 2K.
Yeah, so I don't think they own the IP.
But Gearbox are got to be worth pittance. It's Randy fucking Pitchford.
All the money that they actually own is just in his pocket, isn't it?
The problem is you'd pay for Gearbox and then they'd be like, "Where's the money gone?" Because he makes money disappear, doesn't he? It's like, what money? What are you talking about?
Any opportunity to shit on him.
Oh dear. And then the very last one. This would be the worst ever, but CD Projekt at 2.3 billion. You can get a Cyberpunk world.
Yeah, that
you could also get a Witcher world.
A Witcher world, I think, would work for something more like Harry Potter Studios in London, where it's less of a ride. It's something you can just go in and like, look, there's a Leshen or something, or like other monsters. And I think that could be quite cool. There
you go. So those are our suggestions. Leave your own suggestions in the comments. What theme park game-related theme park world would you like to come into existence so you could visit and go on the rides and experience it? Because Disney are in the market according to this guy, and we thought we'd just throw it out there. Game-related theme park worlds would be cool.
And what would they be called? I'm a big fan of Super Mario World.
Yeah, that's the best.
Well, if you can think of any other cool names, let me know.
Talking of the Witcher world, we're going to discuss now the Witcher Netflix, right?
Yeah. So this was announced yonks ago. Then we got a few pictures a couple weeks ago, and then at Comic-Con dropped the first proper trailer. And it looks all right. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, we discussed it in the Gaming News Roundup on Tuesday. We mentioned it.
Yeah, as a nugget.
As a nugget. It looks good. I was surprised by how, it gets all this criticism, and then you start thinking, well, it's going to actually be shit because, But then again, you look at the trailer and it's like, well, yeah, I'd watch this. If I wasn't interested in The Witcher, I hadn't played the games, I wasn't even a gamer, it'd look interesting to me.
Yeah, I've been saying this to my girlfriend. You're like, we like Game of Thrones. You're not massively into fantasy because you're not a massive fat neck bearded nerd like I am inside. But no, I think you'll like this, and there's strong female leads which she'll really get behind. So I think it'd be a cool way to bring her into my gaming world, but through something slightly different.
Well, Game of Thrones is the obvious comparison. I think they are gearing some of the marketing around. There's a gap in the market now. Game of Thrones is gone. There is that one scene in the trailer where there's a huge battle. There's all these Nilfgaardians that are attacking or whatever, and it's kind of reminiscent of a battle scene in Game of Thrones. But
and the way The Witcher's a lot about people as much as it is about the monsters, and that's very much what Game of Thrones was. It's light on the dragons and heavy on the politics and human interactions.
Yeah, so there's another kind of parallel there. But the one that you suggested in the office that it could be about, and this could be one of the biggest selling points, biggest comparisons, is Merlin, the BBC show. So my missus loved Merlin, and she liked it. The fact that it's fantastic. She loves fantasy. She loves dragons and like monsters and stuff like that. So I showed this trailer to her. I said, she'll really like it. So if they can capture the people who were into Merlin, it's a grittier version of that. Yeah,
Merlin was, in case you aren't aware, it's kind of like a Doctor Who type weekly thing from, must have been like 10 years ago now, but set around King Arthur and then Merlin and that. And it was like a monster of the week sort of thing where there's some magical thing going on that's trying to kill King Arthur, and Merlin's got to stop it, essentially. It's pretty good, but very BBC, very friendly. This looks similar to that in the sense, again, it's Monster of the Week, but it's way grittier, and because what a Witcher is a monster hunter, so it makes sense to do a Monster of the Week type thing, and then have all your human, weird political, everyone is a terrible person sort of drama going on.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. It might even get me into playing the game, because I don't really know a lot about the background, the lore, and the world or anything like that, having not played the game extensively. So maybe it'll give me that connection that might drive me through my next playthrough, because I've tried 2 or 3 times and not really gone far. But
that's one thing I did like about the trailer. They gave you just a little bit of lore about being the elves were the ones who had magic originally, and then the humans and monsters came, and then the humans learned magic, and then they fucked it all up and tried to kill everyone, because that sets the stakes of humans suck.
Yeah, humans suck in the Witcher world. And apologies if you can hear some noise coming, leaking from... We've got the windows open here because it is a heat wave here in the United Kingdom. We always complain about the weather.
Wales, We're
complaining about when it's too cold. We complain about now when it's too warm. But, it's too hot, and we've had the windows open, so if you can hear the traffic going by the window, it'll be one car every 3 hours probably, but you just heard one there because we are in the countryside in mid-North Wales. So moving on, Lauren S. Hittridge, who is the showrunner, like I said, this was dropped at San Diego Comic-Con, and while she was there, she said these things. There is a bathtub this season. There is a bathtub. I won't tell you who's in the bathtub, but there is a bathtub. That's 4 times she said the word bathtub. Going a bit heavy on that.
Bathtub confirmed, right?
Bathtub confirmed. The fact that that iconic scene from the game where Geralt's just in the bath with his feet up, and is it a little
it's a weird little lobster type monster gets put in there by Yen
thing, it's quite funny. So bathtub confirmed to get game fans excited. I don't know if it's out.
Well, that's how they get them, because Henry Cavill, by all accounts, is a very healthy, very attractive man. So they get all us male nerds in because it's it's fancy and monsters, and then they get our girlfriends in and whatnot by saying, "Oh look, Henry Cavill in a bathtub,"
by getting him topless.
Yeah, exactly. He's shirtless in every movie, and to be fair, he looks amazing. So why not?
Yeah, and whatever sells. Just, there you go. She also went on to say, one of the things that probably shifted the most once we cast Henry as Geralt. Henry is Geralt speaks a lot less than I initially intended. In the books, Geralt's actually quite chatty. He talks a lot. What I found, though, on screen, especially with Henry portraying him, a lot can be done in looks and grunts. Henry's a big grunter.
We all are.
Henry's a big grunter. I don't know if
that's why Henry VIII had so many wives. It's just the grunts. Everyone loves a good grunt.
That's part of Geralt's character in the games that people like. Is like his like gruffness.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that's another thing that will attract game players.
Yeah. If they can get his personality, because he's not terribly nice to people. Like he can be, and that's kind of the whole thing about his character. Like he's there to kill monsters and get paid. And one of the mechanics in the game is you can like upsell them. Like, oh, we'll give you 200 gold. No, you're giving me 250. So, oh, but we can't afford that, or I'm not killing a monster. Okay, fine, all right, we'll do it. So if he's getting the grunts down,
he's getting the grunts. We're getting a bathtub scene. I mean, is there a unicorn scene?
Unicorn and titties.
That'd get the game players on board. The neckbeards on board, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
What about titties and unicorns? Well, there you go. But in general, as an overview thing, I'm my hype levels are like maybe 2 or 3 out of 10 now, whereas previously
notches
they were like
are getting a bit higher.
0.
Yeah, there are bits in the trailer where I'm like, oh, he looks really good, like the way they've messed him up in his hair.
You got a bit of a man crush on Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill's amazing.
He looks really good.
He's he shares my name, so we've got a bond.
There's a connection there straight away.
And he's actually posh. He's like a public school,
Oh, you're a wannabe. You're a Henry Cavill wannabe.
But there's bits where he's all like messed up and covered in blood. I'm like, that's Geralt because he's dirty and horrible. And there's other bits where he's way more clean because he's been, he's speaking to someone important. And I'm like, God, you look weird. You look really weird. It's something about the wig, and it's like when you see it in the pictures, you can't quite get it because you've got to see it properly moving and in motion, I suppose. So I'm not completely sold on his look, but that's because it takes time to adjust. He does look good.
There you go. So those is our thoughts on the Witcher Netflix trailer that was released. Let us know what you think. Are you still a bit dubious about it? Do you think #not my Geralt? It's up to you. There's a lot of #not my whatever's going around. #not my Prime Minister at the moment. It's the atmosphere in the UK is not only just hot outside, it's politically charged as well at the moment with #not my this, #not my that.
Unfortunately, it is the case.
That is it. So next, we're going to talk very, 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 very briefly about the loot box news recently that people are all covering. And this is from an article on the BBC where the UK gambling watchdogs does not currently oversee the purchase of in-game content because there's no official way to monetize what's inside them. So this is like old news getting churned over again. But the UK gambling dude has come out and said something, and it's it's the same thing we said 5 or 6, 7 times before in the past. It's not gambling because there's no way to monetize what you get out of them, apart from if you go to a shady reseller or whatever it is, these shady sites that allow you to do that anyway. Although because you can't do it officially, it's not gambling, but you can still do it, so it's not gambling. There you go. But this is Gambling Commission Programme Director Brad Enright who said it. There's unquestionably a demand for a secondary market. That's what he's talking about here. He's talking about these second party sites who allow you to trade in these things that you get out of loot boxes and like FIFA and stuff, CSGO, skin betting and shit like that is a thing and exists, and people can profit off it. So why are you overlooking the fact just because it's not official, the fact that this can happen anyway? And again, briefly, the Gambling Commission Chief Executive Neil MacArthur said the following: there are other examples of things that look and feel like gambling that legislation tells you are not. such as some prize competitions, but because they have free-to-play or free entry, they are not gambling. But they are a lot like a lottery, he said. So again, it's a bit like gambling, but it's not gambling.
Yeah. Well, the thing about this stuff is that when the gambling definitions were written, gaming didn't exist in the same way it does now, certainly not. And loot boxes definitely wouldn't have been a thing in the way we understand them in gaming now. So your gambling definition is out of date. It needs to be updated, and it's something we've said hundreds of times now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter that it's gambling or not. I think these mechanics are detrimental to kids, and they teach them the mechanics of gambling. And you can define them as gambling or not, whatever. But this feedback that people get from having a random chance of getting something, if you do that, at the age of 6, 7, 8, you get used to this whole like excitement around gambling, trying to get that item that you want, trying over and over and over and over and over again to try and get that item that you want, to the point where you're obsessing with it, to the point where people spend, we've seen the headlines recently, £3,000 on FIFA loot boxes and shit like that outside, without their parents' permission. This is what happens because of this, and people's lives are being affected by this. You don't have to call it gambling. Just all you have to do is recognize that it's a problem, and then deal with it in those terms. Gambling is it's not open to kids because of whatever. But with this, whatever it is, you don't have to call it gambling. You have to stick that label on it.
Give it a new word.
Yeah, exactly. And the Gambling Commission, it's not up to them because it's not gambling. Fine, I get that. But the government have to step in and say, this is detrimental to our kids. We won't call it gambling, we'll call it something else, and we'll still regulate it. That's what needs to happen. But we say that over and over again. It doesn't matter whether it's gambling or not. You're just talking about terminology, semantics. That's all it is. Is it detrimental to kids? Does it teach them bad habits? Does it give them psychological problems when they grow older and get addicted to things and end up, having their lives ruined by gambling addictions and shit because they learnt it when they were kids? That's the question. And that's the question you should be looking at, not whether it's gambling or not. And I think that's what a lot of people miss when it comes to covering this gambling. Yeah. Whether loot boxes are gambling shit, because it's beside the point in my eyes. Anyway, I don't really think I've got much more to add to that, because again, it's old ground. Yeah, we're always going over it. It's just how it is. So the last thing I want to talk about before we go on to the Discord questions is we have now become affiliated with Green Man Gaming. Now, if you are a PC gamer and you buy lots of games constantly for your PC, check out Green Man Gaming. They're not a key reseller like the likes of G2A. All their keys are ethically sourced. Organic, ethically sourced, and free range and all that. Yeah, free range. They get them from the publishers. They don't get them from third party people. They're one of the most reputable gaming shops, stores online. Check the Trustpilot reviews. It's 5 out of 5. I've used it before in the past. They always got the lowest prices. They're within pennies out of, if they're not the lowest, they're within pennies of the lowest price. They're currently running a summer sale, which is a lot better than the Steam summer sale was. You buy one game out of a gold tier, you get 5 games free. There's like gold tier, silver and bronze tier games, and depending on what tier that you buy games from, you get certain rewards. You also get entered into a prize to win NVIDIA NS something NVIDIA thing that they're doing. I don't know the details on that, maybe check that out. And also, if you are a new customer, you get 15% off by using the code HELLO15 using our referral link in the top of the description of this podcast or any other referral links. Make sure you use that referral link, because we get kickback on that, and it helps support the channel. So if you're going to buy a game from Green Man Gaming if you use our referral link, it costs you absolutely nothing. The price of your game stays the same, but you will be contributing to the sustained operation of this channel. So really appreciate that. So some of the deals we pointed out the other day, Dark Souls 3 Deluxe Edition, £14.25. That's 76% off. So if you get into Dark Point, that's a steal. Hitman 2 Gold Edition, £26.50 right now. Remember, 15% off on top of that if you're a new customer with Hello 15. No Man's Sky, talking of Hello, £17 right now. That's Hello Games. That's the connection there. And there's loads of stuff. Doom Eternal, $44.99. You can pre-order The Outer Worlds for like $44.99 too. So you get £5 off that. Borderlands 2 Game of the Year Edition, 78% off. £7.70 now if you want to get into Borderlands before the new one comes out. That is a steal. Absolute steal. There's so many of them. I can't go through all of them. Go and check them out if you're into... can't recommend them enough. That's why we've partnered with them, because we trust them, and and they're highly reputable gaming sales store, if that's the right term. Anyway, that's it. So next, let's go to the Discord questions. So the Discord questions are being put to us by the Patreon supporters. Again, these guys help support the continued operation of the channel, without which we wouldn't be here. So patreon.com/prettygoodgaming is where you can find the Patreon page. From little as $1 a month, you can get early access to this podcast, as well as access to the Patreon Discord, and you can post questions for us in the podcast every single week, as well as the other rewards that are there on the Patreon page. So really appreciate everyone who does show their support. So let's go over now to the first question from the Discord questions this week, or this fortnight, since we didn't do it last week. So who do we have?
So first up, this is Vienticus Prime, and this is kind of a long one, and I haven't pre-read it, so forgive me if I stumble over myself. So, I liked your deep conversation that my question on EVE Online inspired last week. I can't even remember what we talked about. What did we talk about? I think it was the NPC invasion, right? Yeah, I think that was it. I figured I'd ask something not so deep, or very deep, depending on how you view on it, based on Gaz's rant on the podcast.
Which one was that? I have some...
exactly, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, this could be anything.
Which rant was that? Let me check my
so I'm going to say that you asked for this, so you brought it on yourself. What do you think it really means when people say grow some balls?
That's what I said. Yeah, just grow some balls, innit? Yeah, don't take things to heart. Like, take criticism. Just grow some balls, innit? Yeah.
It's the most vulnerable part of the male body. In some ways, people's oversensitivities could be an indication of the fear of damage to their oh so tender testitotes. I'm not sure if that's a typo or trying to be like some kind of pun, but nonetheless. Would you say the term grow some balls is a term of traditional masculinity, or something about being strength in exposing your vulnerabilities, or perhaps even something else? What does it mean to you? Personally, I just much prefer to say that people should grow a vagina and learn to take a pounding.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I like your definition of being strength in exposing your vulnerabilities. I guess that works, but grow some balls is like, be a man, right? That's what the term means. Like, be a man, do the manly thing, right? All right, masculinity is portrayed in the media these days as being toxic. That's bullshit, right? They're just demonizing men for their own agenda. That's absolute bullshit. There are specific manly traits which you shouldn't be ashamed of that are great. That courage, being, owning up to your responsibilities, courage, your convictions, standing by what you believe, those types of things. I'm not saying that women and females and feminism can't do that as well, but that's what it is to be a man, right? That's what manly men should do. Look at when I think of like masculine like men, I think of characters like the dude out of Mad Men. What's he called?
Don Draper. But he's not exactly an ideal bloke.
He's not ideal, but he's flawed, right? I get that he's flawed, but it's just a dude. If he doesn't like something, he'll just like spin everywhere there. But he'll just like I just like the character, not because of his fucking.
He's not exactly someone to aspire to be.
He's not. No, but
you can enjoy him as a character. That's fine.
I like Don Draper. I like him because he's flawed and he's trying to change, and that's what I like about characters. People who have problems, they realise that they're flawed, but they're trying their best to do better.
Yeah, I think strength isn't the absence of problems. It's doing things despite of the problems and like getting through it and doing it anyway. Like, I've got this barrier in my way, but I'm going to get through it, solve my issue and get better. Whereas other people are like, I just got I got to where I was. But I don't think that's as strong as overcoming something.
Yeah, I think taking responsibility for your feelings and your actions and your convictions is the biggest thing that you can do to help yourself more than anything. Not following through or just like being passive aggressive with things and not having the courage of your convictions is one of the worst that, you know. But part of that is offending people, right? Part of speaking your mind about things is that you're going to offend. We're getting really deep here, but is having to offend people with your opinion. But so long as people don't get offended by opinions and get arsey and shitty about it, which is what my point was in the last podcast, it should be fine, right? So grow some balls and accept criticism and have the courage of convictions to say what you feel. Because otherwise it just turns into a passive-aggressive fucking Mexican standoff, and then it gets to a point where it boils over, and then what happens? World War III.
I'm a big proponent of like owning your shit. I've probably said this before. Like if you've got a problem, that's your problem. Like you solve it. Like if you've made it, you've solved it. Like you're not good at everything. You're going to be bad at probably more things than you are good at.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that and either get better if you want to get better at stuff. There's stuff that I'm not very good at and I don't really give a fuck if I'm not very good at it. I'm not going to try. But there's things I'm not as good as I'd like to be, so I'm going to get better. And I know I will never be, perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect in my opinion. When I was talking about stuff like this with my girlfriend the other day, it's semi-relevant. We're saying that you should never be like absolutely happy, because you should always be trying to get to the next level. Like you can have, I had a really great day today at work. I got promoted, I got a raise, blah, blah. That's great. But then there's the next thing.
Yeah, sure.
Like you can always get better and better and better. Yeah. And it's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah, if you have a life commitment to like always getting better rather than, always learning as well. Learn about things. You don't just leave school and know everything.
Yeah. Even if you're working in a job you hate, say you're stuck in like a McDonald's type thing, you don't like it. Okay, well then you should be aiming to get promoted to be like a supervisor, then like a manager, then like area manager, and before long, if you've worked hard and you've
it's all about attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's growing some balls, because you've got these obstacles in your way, so get through them.
Yeah,
it's difficult. It's supposed to be
someone
difficult.
else. Don't expect everything to be handed to you. Go out there and bloody earn it. I know some people don't get the opportunities to, but I think a lot of the problems, and we're talking about society in general again here, and life lessons with PGG here. But you take responsibility and earn your own goddamn crust or whatever. I don't know. How did we get there from talking about growing balls? Thanks for your question, Venticus Prime. Venticus Prime, man, is these questions, man. They're a black hole. They're a black hole of who knows where you'll end up.
We've got a shorter one here next.
Okay, I'll read this one. Sabu says, what's your thought on Greedfall by Spiders Studio? This game was completely off my radar and it just came to my attention this week. It looks pretty good. Lol. Have you guys heard of it? No, I haven't. Doing a quick Google right now.
Briefly looked at it in the past and it looks a bit like an Assassin's Creed type thing at first glance, because I think it's I don't really... like 16th century Spain or 17th century Spain, kind of like Spanish Inquisition, but obviously that was a bit earlier, it's like an RPG and there's like weird magic stuff going on and there's like elves and monsters that exist in the world, so it looks interesting, but I don't really know anything about
like Elder Scrolls or something. It looks interesting. I'm looking at the trailer now from 6th of June this year, so over a month ago. There's a story trailer from E3. I must have seen this because I pretty much watched them all.
It does seem like it's a larger scale indie game, so you'll have to factor that in to like your expectations. But it looks interesting. It looks creative. Like they're trying to tell a properly original story.
It's interesting because there's not many games that come up with new worlds like this. And
exactly.
It's worth your attention just because of that. Because there's so many already established IP that do this type of thing from big studios. There's very few that do it new, so it might be worth checking out, that's for sure. I'm definitely going to be checking this out. The third person, I'm guessing, open world RPG fantasy setting. Yeah, it looks interesting.
It looks cool, but Google's just trying to ask me to prove I'm not a robot to get into YouTube for this randomly out of nowhere. I've never had to do that before. Has it logged me out? No, I'm still logged in. That was a bit weird. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, thanks for the question there.
Okay, what is our next question? Metal Shark.
Mr. Metal Shark.
Here we go. Now EA Access is out on the PS4. Do you think there will be a revival of player bases for older multiplayer games? And do you think this will create pressure for adding crossplay to such titles to keep the player numbers high?
Thinking of Titanfall 2?
Yeah, if
Mass Effect Andromeda?
Yeah.
Plants vs. Zombies.
I'm trying to remember what other games there. Titanfall 2 is definitely one.
Yeah,
people will probably come back to, but I don't think it'll ever be like numbers high. It'll be like for like the first week or so with access users.
Revival player bases. Yeah, I'm sure they'll trickle in. Free games. Well,
yeah,
it's a subscription to get in, but consider it if it's part of your library, you'll check it out. A lot of people will. So yeah, maybe they will attract, all these old games will attract a new player base, and then will them communities then put pressure for adding crossplay to keep player numbers high? I don't know. I doubt that.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot of work for not much of a payoff.
Yeah, I mean, they might put pressure on, but they won't fucking listen to them. There's not much in it for them, like you said.
Are they gonna earn any money that they'll be paying the developers to do this?
Yeah,
they won't really.
I can't see it changing too much.
And then there's another question from Metal Shark again, just kind of two at once. Will you two be playing Wolfenstein Youngblood, A Way Out, or any other two-player co-op game after the success of Henry's Days Gone and Away episodes, and potential other successes between now when this question is read? Well, Marvel Ultimate Alliance will be the only other one. It's out this week, I think, isn't it?
It's out in 2 days' time. It's Wednesday now. I think it's Friday it's out.
Yeah.
It's Friday it's out. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably out now already. So we'll be playing Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's not something I'm really that interested in. I played the previous Wolfenstein and I was a bit put off by I was just a big fan of... I wasn't a fan of it. It was good. It just wasn't the right tone for me. It was a bit too jovial. It was like, oh, Nazis, they're bad. Let's kill them. Yeah, this is fun. Lol. It's just very generic, very, expected. Not an interesting story, to be honest. I'm not expecting too much good from Wolfenstein Youngblood. But talking about two-player games that we can play together, we had a dabble with
this morning.
Rogue.
What was I've completely forgotten what it's called. Streets of Rogue.
Streets of
Rogue.
Rogue.
Streets of Rage, which also is a co-op game. Yeah, Streets of Rogue. It's like top-down, like pixel
indie game.
Yeah, indie like shoot 'em up, I guess. But its key thing is that it's like a roguelike, and you can approach the levels in completely different ways. A massive sandbox. Like you've got your main objective and then a couple other little ones like kill this guy, open this door. And then it will be like, okay, so you're in the space, you can punch through a window, climb through, shoot everyone in there, throw grenades about, rescue the guy, run away, go home, job done.
I think the interesting thing for me is the amount of characters with all special unique abilities and traits that you got. So you get a soldier who'll just run and shoot and throw grenades, or you can be a hacker who can hack open the doors and, go about it a little bit differently. Or you could be a scientist who's got like this shrink ray and a freezing gun, or like a pill that makes him a giant. Yeah. It's so full of character, this game.
Yeah. And there's other people like running around in the level like civilians who you don't want to kill, and if you do kill them, you said further through the story and levels progression, they'll send like assassins after you.
Yeah, if you kill too many innocents, you get a bunch of assassins come after you. But what's interesting is like we played it two-player, and then you're one character with certain traits and abilities and strengths, and I was another character. So I was a hacker and you were the soldier. So I'd open the doors, you'd run in and kill them. Or there was it the hacker who can... I was the thief at one point, and he can teleport through walls. So instead of like going through the front door and killing people, I could just teleport through a wall, open the box, get the item, and then teleport back out. And it's
while
great.
I'm shooting everyone.
Yeah. So you could work together with your strengths and like be part of a decent team. That's a really decent. We might do that on a gameplay video
from that. That was really cool. Yeah,
it was fun
because there's so many different ways you can approach it.
Yeah. And next up, Mr. Gaboris has a question. Number 1. So, Gaz, based on my previous question, have you tried running a non-installed game from Galaxy 2.0 to see if it starts installation or not? You know what? I haven't played Galaxy 2.0 for ages, since before I went on a holiday. So I've got back on holiday on Friday, and before that, a whole week I was away. I haven't been on it, so unfortunately I don't have an answer to no is the answer to your question. So because I haven't played it. Since I've been back, I've been playing Streets of Rogue. I've also been playing loads of Hearthstone while I was away. I was just sat on a beach playing Hearthstone. My God, I'm into that game. It's just... it's devoured so much of my time. Yeah, I didn't take my Nintendo Switch with me because I thought... it's the drifting thing. That's what it is. It's psychological. I'm not enjoying my games on the Switch now. Yeah. So I didn't take my Switch on holiday. That's what it's for, right? Traveling. I didn't even take it because of the drifting. So all I had was my phone. So I was either watching like Cobra Kai, which is season 2, which I've been watching recently. Cobra Kai's awesome, man. Awesome. That's Karate Kid. Karate
Kid, right?
Karate Kid thing. Oh, so good.
It's a YouTube original show. Yeah,
so good. So I'm either watching that or playing Hearthstone, and that's what I've been doing. I'm well into Hearthstone now. Big time. I've never been into card games. I surprised myself. So sorry about your not having an answer to your question, Mr. Gaboris. But you do have the second part to your question. How fast is the scanning process when you connect an account in Galaxy 2.0? Games, user data, is it installed or not? And the likes, or is it all instantaneous and doesn't need to be pre-processed before it gets displayed? I'm more interested in the extreme level case use in regard to library sizes, but even 10 to 100 games could be a useful measure to what to expect. I'm actually starting to get a bit worried about telling people how big of a library I have on Steam. It didn't take long at all. You connect your Steam library and it's almost instant that it tells you how many games you've got on your Steam library, because all it does is check the Steam info. It doesn't have to look through loads of information, so it didn't take that long. It was almost instantaneous. There was hardly any delay, so you can be safe in the knowledge that however big your Steam library is, it's not going to take that long to process and get displayed as you've asked. So hopefully that's answered your question, Mr. Gaboris. I'm sorry that I can't answer better, because like I said, I haven't played it for a while. So
next question is from Big Doc, who I'm pretty sure has messaged before asking about conspiracy theories and whatnot, and we've got something along the same lines here again. Mr. Big Doc again. It's my anniversary. Sadly, it was also the day of a mass shooting. That's very unfortunate. Yeah. My wife is at work and I'm smoking cannabis, taking care of our 2-year-old. Again, it might not be the best idea, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I mean, as long as she's having an app or whatever, it's good. You could be doing worse narcotics, to be fair. Thinking about conspiracy theories, again, lol. Here's an article I found supporting my Microsoft surveillance state theory. I attached the article and would like to know your take. So if you're on Discord, you can find that article along with that question. By the way, BC stands for because. Tweaktown, Xbox Kinect sensors being used as cameras in Newark Airport. So I've just clicked on this article, and it's essentially a couple of picked photos taken at the airport and then posted to Twitter. And they've literally got Xbox Kinect devices hooked up to an arm and dangling over. And apparently, according to the guy who took it, the Xbox logo is still on them. So it's not even like they've repurposed the thing. So are Microsoft spying on everyone?
It's weird because when they're using a Microsoft controller to fly drones
and stuff, yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, Microsoft are a government contractor, which I think is really...
You got me thinking now, and I don't even smoke weed.
Yeah, we're fucking sober. Yeah. I reckon this is probably just a cheap way of getting a decent, high-quality camera from the Kinect and just...
Yeah, it's multifunctional, right? Because it does movement.
Yeah, exactly. Motion.
Does it do heat as well?
Yeah, I think it's got infrareds in it.
Yeah,
infrared
so
beams.
Maybe it is a cheap way to get all sorts of functionality from a single camera. If you're thinking, maybe they're just trying to save money because surveillance like this costs so much money. Keeping people safe costs so much money. Is the good way to look at it.
Yeah.
The bad way to look at it is fucking Microsoft are in bed with the CIA,
with Newark Airport.
Fucking hell.
I wonder if Microsoft know about this, or if Newark have just like mocked it up themselves. I reckon they must do.
They must know about it. There'll be something in the terms and conditions that they're not allowed to use it for.
Yeah, not allowed to crack the software or anything like that.
Exactly. So they must have permission to do it because it's a government agent.
The fact that the Xbox logo is still on it is hilarious, though. You'd like, surely you'd send them like a clean one.
Yeah.
But then again, if anyone does clock it, it's like, it's Xbox up there.
Or maybe they just waiting to do like a Let's Dance game, like when people are waiting for planes or something.
There is an Xbox hooked up, and they've had this viral marketing campaign planned for years.
They do like that flash mob thing.
A flash mob
doing like Let's Dance or something.
But then a flash mob in an airport's probably not the best idea. They're busy enough anyway.
I'm looking on the bright side here, Mr. Dark. I'm doing my best, but it doesn't look great to me.
Yeah, this is pretty odd.
There you go. Thanks for the question. Next, Lochka. Has anyone from the appropriate patron tier taken you up on the offer to visit the office? No, they haven't. Not on the gaming. A couple of people messaged me on the music. I've actually met one of the guys who came over from Canada and sat with me. We played guitar for a while. This was a few years ago now, 2005, 15. So one dude from the gaming channel, the music channel came over. Another guy who's visiting something says he wants to come in, but no one's ever taken up an offer to visit the office. So it is there, the offer is there. So maybe it's because musicians are a bit more outgoing and gamers are a bit more reclusive, and they don't want to leave the house. They're like just too busy, lying in their own Dorito dust playing games to want to come and visit.
If you're a gamer, you can come over and like play a game. But then there's so many more games. But if you're a guitar player, you can just have a jam or whatever. Yeah. God, you can tell I don't play any.
Have a jam.
Yeah, you can tell I don't play any.
Whatever.
I know the lingo of the musicians.
Yeah, you're right. It is correct.
Yeah.
There you go, Lochka. Thanks for your question.
Okay, next up, Earth1 Ben, Gaz and Henry. What is your favourite movie tie-in game? Okay, so is that a game based on a movie, so it's that way round, okay?
Yeah.
Mine is Universal Soldier on Mega Drive. Would I be wrong to say Spider-Man 2 is in here? Absolutely not. Spider-Man 2 is awesome, but I never owned the full version of it. I remember distinctly playing it in Toys R Us and being like, this is the greatest, because the only other Spider-Man games I'd really played were PS1 ones, which are also amazing. Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, big fan. But the web swing, and everyone knows it's got the best web swing, but then Spider-Man PS4 has come out and just done it better anyway, so I don't need it anymore. Universal Soldier, is that the Van Damme movie?
Yeah, Van Damme.
Because I've not seen that. But my favourite movie tie-in game, first at the top of my head, is probably the X-Men Origins Wolverine game for two reasons. The movie was awful, and the game was legitimately really good. The story was rubbish, but like the movie, we'll give it a PG-13 rating, so it's going to be friendly. The game, no, it's Wolverine, he's got claws, it's going to be violent as fuck, and you can rip people apart. As you take damage, his skin rips off, and that grows back as you recover health. It was awesome. I love that game, but my copy of it broke, so this is part of my story with it. My copy of it broke and had a scratch all the way around because I think I must have knocked my Xbox, and I got every achievement in it, I think, and then because I think my account was connected to someone else's Xbox, and then when I connected mine back online, it deleted all of that progress, so I don't think I ever touched it again after that, and I haven't played it for years, but it's a really good game.
My favourite tie-in game was called Back to the Future Part 2 on the Commodore Amiga back in the day. Now, this was awesome, right? You start off, it's almost scene to scene with the movie, right? You start off on your hoverboard in the town square, trying, where, fighting the bad guys, and there's that scene where, you do biff over whatever. And that's cool, right? You think, the whole game's going to be like that. But no, the second level is like a top-down kind of strategy thing where you're trying to get Marty out of the house before he sees himself. That bit where like the paradox might happen and the world might end. So there's that top-down thing where you kind of open doors and send people into different rooms in the house, and you're trying to get Marty out the door before they see each other.
That's amazing.
So that's like level 2. Level 3 was like a side-scroller beat 'em up,
so many different genres.
Which is really cool. And then level 4 back to the hoverboard where it's all in sequence with the film, right?
Yeah.
And this is where like the you're trying to catch up with Biff because he's got the almanac or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there he is, old man Biff.
Old man Biff there. And then that's it. That's all it was.
Awesome.
I think that's all it was. But yeah, that's what I remember. It was an awesome game. Amiga 500 that was on. So that's my answer. And I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I love it when games like switch up the genres, like still in the game. Like I think Neo Automata was really good for that because it's crazy hack and slash, and then you're going to go hack and do a top-down shoot 'em up thing. Awesome.
It is good. Thanks for your question, Mr. Earthman Ben.
Okay, last question. I believe this is a new messenger. I don't think we've had one from Stephen123 before, and I think we may have answered this question before, but it's a good question. I like it anyway. I'm new to Discord, so I'm hoping I've done this right. Question for the podcast: if you could have 3 game, TV, or film characters round for dinner, who would you have? I'd have Deacon from Days Gone, Buffy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Ben Kenobi from Star Wars.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Why would you have her around, eh?
Yeah. Deacon, I think he's a great character, but I'm not sure I'd have him for dinner because he's a bit grumpy. And if I'm having dinner, I want to have a nice chill vibe. I want to have a bit of a party. You know, one of my go-tos is always Dante from DMC because he's like that, and he's always down for pizza. So that's dinner covered. I haven't got to pretend I can cook.
So from TV, based on the new series that's started recently, like a new Star Trek thing, I'd have Jean-Luc Picard, man. Yeah. He's the best. And I can't wait for that show. And I know it's not going to be like on the Enterprise. It's going to be Picard's story, like a story of him now. He's old or whatever. It's not going to be the same. But I'm down for it. I'm watching it. And Jean-Luc Picard is the best captain. I'd fight anyone who says otherwise. I've
never liked Star Trek, but even I know Picard's better than Kirk as a captain. Yeah, so
he's better than anyone. So Jean-Luc Picard. Who would you have? Well, he's gone for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In terms of good-looking women, who would you opt for?
I mean, Buffy's a great choice
from the gaming world, though.
Well, so if we go do one game, one TV, one film. On my one game, I'll pick Dante as my game.
So you've got.
Then if I invite someone like Buffy, he's just going to take them and hit on them. And he's much more attractive and cavalier than I am.
So you need like 2, so one each, like the cheeky girls or something.
like the cheeky girls.
Why not?
Of all like female combos.
That's it. The cheeky girls. We get cheeky, get some.
What a
be entertaining.
Dated as fuck reference that is. Bloody hell. Movie character. No, TV character. If we're going on Beautiful Women, there's plenty I can think of in Game of Thrones. But if I was going to pick one, probably Marjorie Tyrell. What's the actress's name? Natalie Dormer.
Yeah.
Because if you pick someone like Daenerys, she's just going to be a pain in the arse.
She's too full of herself.
Exactly. She's a bit much for a dinner party.
Oh yeah. I mean, Marjorie Tyrell is going to be an absolute charmer.
Yeah. She's going to really make you feel like you're the best man in the world. So yeah, Marjorie Tyrell. Film character. Ben Kenobi is a good choice, but again, he's a bit old, so he's probably just going to start like lecturing you, and giving you some wisdom that you'd never asked for.
But Yoda would be cool though, because it'd be talking in riddles and keep you interested.
Well, yeah, if it's crazy Empire Strikes Back on Dagobah Yoda, where he's whacking R2-D2, that could be quite fun. But you put some music on like your speakers, and he'll be like, "Why isn't it?"
Yeah.
Movie character. I don't know who I'd pick. Maybe Tony Stark. I'd get Tony Stark because
pretty cool.
Because he'd throw a wicked party, and he'd probably bring an entourage of other people to turn it into a real party.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going with cheeky girls. I don't know why.
From real life.
Yeah, from real life. I'll go with a game character. Game character who'd be interesting would be. I don't know. My favourite characters are all gruff males.
Exactly.
And they're shit, right?
They're not
shit
very
dinner
good
guests.
to be around.
Maybe. I don't know. Like decent game
someone
characters.
like Joel, he plays guitar, so you could just have a strum along.
I'd rather Ellie. Ellie be cool.
Yeah. But then again, it'd have to be Last of Us 2 Ellie, where she's 18, because she's going to be pretty boring at a party.
She can be the 14. Bouncer. Yeah, Ellie to be the bouncer, Cheeky Girls for the entertainment, and then I've got the movie character.
Who's your actual guest?
Who is my actual guest, will be Picard from...
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Done it. Done and dusted. Thank you very much, Stephen, for your question. And everyone else for your questions this week. Leave your answers to... If you've got your own answers to the questions, leave them down in the comments below. Now, let's take some YouTube comments. Of the last 2 weeks, I've spotted a few. I didn't find a triggered fanboy comment of the week because I wasn't here to trigger people, and Henry didn't do a good enough job triggering people, apparently.
I'm sorry, people
kept everyone happy.
Agree with my opinions.
God. Bloody hell, Henry.
Well, the one
people got angry, but they didn't get angry at you.
It was the Ubisoft one, because that was...
You're too posh to get angry at.
It's very easy to be angry at posh people. Hello, look at our new Prime Minister. Just hearing him talk, you just want to hurt something. But yeah, the Ubisoft one was the one I thought would get people the most upset, and it did, but it was so down the middle. Like, and everyone, the commenters were attacking each other more than they were attacking me. So that was quite fun. Have you got one good to go? Because I think I've got one ready.
Yeah, I got one called Jack Iller, and he said, "Yo, dudes, I'm going to have sex later."
Dope.
I'm not sure that's an appropriate comment for the comment section.
Topic? Like, what was the video?
I think it was Monday's video. And I was like, well, you know, your hand doesn't count as sex, right?
Yeah, I mean, why'd you have to bring him down? He was happy. And he wanted to share in this moment.
Hey, listen, if he's getting it, he doesn't care that I'm dissing him, right?
He'll be like, yeah, but I'm still getting sex, so...
He doesn't care that I'm dissing him if he's actually getting it. Yeah. So good on you, Jack. Otherwise, you're a lying bastard and your hand doesn't count.
You literal wanker.
I'm sure he's not.
No, I'm sure you're a swell guy. And I hope you did have sex.
Yeah, I think he responded on... He commented again on the next video. I haven't got it here, but it says, guess what I just did?
So I've got one here, and it's from our last podcast. And it's kind of linking to a comment I've made in the past. And the reason I picked this one is because I started reading it, and then I hit my point, and I was like, in my head did an actually, and then I carried on. I was like, oh, wait, no, fair enough.
Actually.
So, Henry, I know you have an agenda against coleslaw, but next time you're in Chester, you need to try it at Hickory's Smokehouse. It'll change your opinion. Less moisture and more flavour in a big bowl. Thank me later. So when I got to Chester, I was like, next time I'm in Chester, I'm there every night. I live there, you fucking... Look at you, actually, you don't know. And then I was like... The thing is, I still haven't been to Hickory's.
Haven't you?
I still haven't been. Everyone I know has been there. Through uni or people who just live there, love Hickory's, and I still haven't been. You don't live there, and you've been loads of times.
Oh, no, I've been to Hickory's in Roseland-on-Sea, which is...
But it's going to be the same thing.
It's the same thing, yeah. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The pulled pork there, man, is...
The guy I used to work with works there as well, so I could... like get mates rates or whatever, but nope,
it's good.
Still haven't gone.
It's good meat.
It's because it's a little bit
brisket
too far to walk.
The brisket and the pulled pork. I get the platter with all the. Just get a big platter between me and the missus, and it's that's what you need.
But there you go. Next time I'm in Chester, which will be tonight, I won't be going to Hickory's. I think I am going to a barbecue though.
Oh yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
So yeah.
Do I get an invite?
Fuck no.
Oh well, there we go. So next up, Full Metal Alien comments. First do a calibration. Talking about the Nintendo Switch things. First do a calibration, then blow all you can as you can get in the into the thumbings while moving it around. Mine do it every 3 months. I do this and they work again after. I think it's a Nintendo thing to blow into their stuff to make it work. Remember like the old cartridges where they didn't work, like a Nintendo Super Nintendo. It was like and put it in. And
then you got to try and make sure like your lips are dry so you're not spitting everywhere.
Like I just did then.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it's just a pain in the arse to do it every like 3 months or whatever. Just if it just worked, that'd be better. So I got one from my gameplay of an indie game called Away, the survival series, and it was like a demo, a sort of demo, but of one specific thing, and it's you're gliding down like through a forest or whatever. Mr. Big Toe 89, that Attenborough impression was on point because I did a little David Attenborough in there. There's a couple comments like that, and I like to think I'm good at impressions, but I never know if it's actually me being good or me being like, I sound like that in my own head.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Maybe I should do it in everything.
There you go.
Attenborough Plays as a new series.
Sounds good. Games industry analyst suggests keeping secrets is out of date video. Mr. Sean Wingfield got a comment which I was surprised about the amount of upvotes on it. Game journalists shouldn't be reporting information developers haven't announced. That is shoddy journalism. 11 upvotes on that. I'm surprised by that. I mean, all right, it's only 12 people or 11 plus 10 plus him who's liked his own comment who thinks that, because they generally do tend to like their own comments. But do you think it's shoddy journalism reporting information that developers haven't announced, maybe about a game? It's shoddy journalism. I know. It's just because they keep secrets, right? And information is information. If it's out there, if it's known, it's not illegal. So as long as it's not protected by some law or something, it's not shoddy journalism. There's part of journalism to find out the information that people want to know. If people want to know it, that is fulfilling what a journalist does. A
journalist provides information and tells it to readers and whatever.
I don't know. I don't agree with that, really. It's shoddy journalism. It's not shoddy. It's just unethical in a way. It's like just like,
even then it's arguable.
Yeah, treading a moral fine line, really. It's like, whether it's right or wrong or not is beside the point, because journalism is about delivering information that people want to know.
Yeah. And even in our video, which we did on Tuesday, the second story was about the Avengers game leak. And the way I originally edited in bits of the footage I was talking about, but then I deleted it because I was like, well, I'll put a disclaimer in just in case people don't want to see it. Yeah. Because
spoilers, whatever.
Yeah, I sort of saw it inadvertently. Mm-hmm. Like I started, like I caught a glimpse of it and it was already moving, so I was like, all right, well, I might as well watch the full thing. But then I was like, well, if you look in the description, you can find the link and watch it for yourself. Yeah. But then I did put in the costume pictures because that, in my opinion, that's only like an extra thing anyway.
Yeah.
And it's not something that most people will be like caring about as much as the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm all about alternate costumes, especially in superhero stuff, because they've had so many different costumes over the years, so it's really easy. You can just call upon decades of history.
You can call it unethical. I will understand if you call it unethical. Calling it shoddy is wrong, because that's what journalism does, right? But it is a fine line. I mean, I don't agree with sharing leaks as much. You know, you think about, like the example I used in the video was Cyberpunk 2077. They do it for a reason. You might hurt their brand. You might hurt their potential, hype and excitement around that game if you were to leak the gameplay beforehand, like they shown in 2018 last year. I don't know. So I'm a bit in two minds over that. If you're just talking about it like what we did, I'm more happy with that rather than showing it ourselves, saying this is what happened, this is what was shown. We didn't steal it. We didn't sit there in the thing, sign an NDA and then record it like what everyone else. That's what someone did.
Well, I'm not going to say illegal, but sometimes it is, because sometimes NDAs are
against the terms of the NDA.
Enforceable.
Yeah, that was done illegally or against the contract of the NDA. That's how it was leaked, right? Because otherwise you're not allowed to sit in there and watch these game previews without signing an NDA. That's what happened. So, talking about the leak is what we did. I'm happy with that. I would never do it myself. I would never, like the Cyberpunk preview was recorded. Someone had their recorder in their pocket. It's like audio recorded. I don't know if you remember that. But somebody sat there and recorded the whole audio from the gameplay before the Cyberpunk thing was released. That again was a breach of the NDA. But yeah, it's a moral grey area. I don't totally agree with it. Although I see people, I don't think it's bad journalism. I just think it's bad ethics.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
There you go.
Because you are doing your job, and you can argue that the job is unethical. Like if you're a executioner, you're killing people. That is your job.
Yeah,
you can say it's unethical.
That's true.
I've got one here if I can find it. Yeah, and it's on a video I did last week about a series of stories run by the BBC about loot boxes and in-game microtransactions and people spending loads and loads and loads of money, and like the parents of the kid or the owner of the card is like completely unaware. And I closed it out by saying something like, I'm sick of this conversation, so blah, 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 blah. And a few people have commented the same thing, and I totally agree. So this is from Renee Albrechtsen. We might be sick of this conversation, but it's important we keep it going if you want this crap to end. And that is true, and I feel like that's why we had to talk about this loot box stuff today. And it's what we hate talking about it because it's the same every time, but we still need to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really like talking about it because we always come to the same conclusion, but we keep doing it because it's worth keeping the conversation alive.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you got any more?
I don't have any more, really.
I've got at least 2 more.
Go on.
I could probably dig for more, but... okay, so this one was on the Ubisoft one. So Ubisoft have started a program similar to what they did with Beyond Good and Evil 2, where musicians can go to this site and submit parts of music and work with other musicians, and eventually 10 pieces are going to get put into Watch Dogs Legion. And if your piece is picked, you're going to get paid a portion of $200. No, I think it's $2,000 among all the creators who worked on that piece. And there's a big discussion about whether or not it's exploitative. I don't think it is, because you have a choice whether you go into it. Exactly. And there's an argument made about, it devalues your work. But if you don't think it's it's of value to you, because you're a professional musician spending 40 hours a week making music, recording with artists and whatnot, and you don't think it's worth putting your time into this, then just don't do it. And that's just totally fine.
Don't do it. It's that fucking simple. People getting angry, like, how dare you exploit us? It was your fucking choice. You fucking submitted it. You put the work in. You didn't have to do that. Stop blaming someone else for something that you fucking did. That's what the world's like these days. Yeah. It's like someone volunteers for something and says, well, I expect this. I volunteered. What? You knew the terms when you volunteered. What the fuck are you talking about? Glad I wasn't in that video, because that's one. I mean, if there was, it wouldn't be a podcast without a Gaz rant. Yeah. And there you have it, guys. This is one. I sent this topic over to you as an all day. I was like, you should talk about this one. This would be cool. By the way, I was trying not to kind of cloud your impression. I was like, these fucking idiots are trying to do it.
I think the exact words were woke brigade.
Trying to fucking take people's choice away.
Yeah.
They're trying to take people's choice away because they fear that someone might get exploited. Just because there's a small chance that maybe 1 or 2 people might get exploited. Nobody gets a choice anymore because these people are scared that someone might get exploited. Oh my God, like, what is the world coming to when you don't get a choice anymore because these people are scared that something might happen? Just fuck off. Just don't do it. Say no. Don't do it.
And
it's simple.
And if we are in the minority and every other professional musician in the world thinks this way, well, if no one does it, they're not going to get what the songs they want. They're not going to get it. Anyway, I haven't even read my comment yet.
I chose to put 40 hours of work into this thing, and I didn't get anything for it because I volunteered. I've been exploited. What?
So every person who works for a charity... unpaid is exploited, but it's a charity, so it's
exploited.
Fine. It's fine. So my comment is on that similar vein. Felipe Carvalho, hey gamers, stop doing wonderful levels for Smash Ultimate or Mario Maker. We're all working for free for Nintendo.
Exploited.
Then, sarcasm, like
yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing.
User-generated content. It's all exploitation. Oh, come on.
I mean, with the Ubisoft thing, they absolutely could pay them more. Do they have to? No, because it's still a choice. I think morally they should. If people are putting this much work in, absolutely. And they're a multi-million-dollar company. They have the resources to. But it's your choice. If you don't think it's a good deal, don't do it.
You can back out anytime. It's like the thing with unpaid internships, right? Like I've used unpaid internships in the past, and we've hired staff from them in the past. It was a stepping stone in order to get somewhere where we were going, and it's worked out really well pretty much every time. It's a symbiotic relationship, right? And it's entered into by both parties with their own free will. Like, it's their own choice. This is what this is, right? It's an agreement between 2 parties, 2 free agents to do what the fuck they want, to either agree or not to. You don't agree to something and then say you're being exploited. That's just not how it works. And now you can't get unpaid internships anymore because it's exploitation, according to these fucking journalists. Exploitation. Free labour is now exploitation. Like, not if the person wants to do it. That's not exploitation. The person has voluntarily done it. That's not exploitation. That's not what the word means. Let's just get over yourselves. Stop trying to protect people who don't need protecting. God.
Yeah,
that's why I'm getting annoyed by it.
It winds me up so much because
they're taking people's choices away based on. It's not even them that's in that situation. It's like, oh, this person wasn't strong enough to say she didn't like this, or he didn't like this little situation that they were in. So he was exploited. This person was exploited in this situation, so that nobody else gets a choice now. Nobody else is allowed a choice because this one person one time got exploited. It wasn't even you. It wasn't even you who got exploited. Now you're fighting that cause. Come on, grow up. Grow some balls.
Telling people they shouldn't do it, I think, is ridiculous because you're a creator, you're an artist. You do that because you like doing things your way. And when other people are trying to tell you what to do, that's completely against and paradoxical to what being a creator is all about. It's beyond me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's offering people opportunities with some benefit to both parties. It's like it's offering an opportunity. If you don't want that opportunity in the terms that's been written, don't accept it. Just don't accept it. It's that simple. Just say no. And the people who don't think who will get most out of it, they will say yes, and they have that choice. Why do you want to impose your morality onto other people? This is what the world has come to now. It's bullshit. Shouldn't happen. Bullshit. Stop trying to teach the world how to be. Just let it be, man. Let people make their own choices. We're all fucking grown-ups. End rant. Right. That's it. No more rants. You got any more questions?
I've got one final quote here. Not quote. Comment here, and it's from my Ultimate Alliance gameplay. And at one point, I think I made a joke about Star-Lord saying something to Rocket Raccoon, and me making a joke. Oh, is that racist? Because he's a human making fun of a raccoon because of based on his race and stuff. It's quite clearly a fucking joke. And then I think I made something. Oh no, he can't be racist because he's a white guy. And someone has misinterpreted that and got a little bit upset by it. So this is from Sasky. There's about 5 S's in total there. What's with the incel can't be racist against white guys comment? So it's not even what I've really said. I'm pretty sure I haven't fucking looked back at it. I might have said something. I might have said it exactly like that. Pretty sure I didn't know. But then what I like most about it is the person who commented back. It was clearly sarcasm. He was joking. Don't get your knickers in a twist over a sarcastic joke. It makes you look ridiculous.
Yeah. That's true. How dare you make a joke, Henry, on the internet?
I mean,
don't you know better by now?
The joke about Star-Lord, a white man, being racist to a raccoon, that it's racist because he's he's saying silly things at him and mean things at him because he's a raccoon. That's offensive. But it's a joke about he's white and white people are never the victim of racism, even though of course everyone is.
I go away.
Not trying to say to the same extent as other groups. That's ridiculous, but you know.
I'm away for 1 week and you're making racially insensitive jokes.
I know.
How dare you?
You'll know what else?
How dare you bring the left brigade down on us?
He's right. Well, the thing is, he's calling me an incel, which is often something the conservative right do.
Side, right? Yeah.
So, an incel, isn't that the fucking the nice guys, the ones who are like sexually impotent and all that shit? So I've had a girlfriend for over 4.5 years.
Congratulations.
So, clearly, I know it's a curse.
She's watching this.
No, she's not.
She does.
She's complaining about the heat. She got in from work yesterday and was in a massive huff just because of the heat. I was like, I haven't done anything wrong. Come on, leave me alone.
It's always your fault, dude. It's always our fault. No matter what's wrong with them, it's our fault.
What's with the incel man are always at fault comments. Anyway, that's all my comments for today.
And that's it for this podcast. If you enjoyed the content, want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You will get next week's podcast early, 2 days at least, and you get access to the Patreon Discord. You can join in the community and speak to all the like-minded, awesome dudes who are there, who do enjoy a good dad joke or two, and discuss gaming news and what's happening and things like that. It's a really awesome community. Head over to Green Man Gaming if you want some bargains right now using our affiliate link in the top of the description. That again helps the channel out. And on behalf of Henry and myself, we will see you again next week's podcast or in the next video that you watch of ours. So,
or if you're while I remember, I'm at Manchester Comic Con this week on Saturday. So if you're in town, come and say hello. I'm just going to be loitering around. Want to watch the retro replay live show? That should be cool. So if you're there, come say hi.
You should post on a Discord that you're going to an event as an events thing. Just tell them that you're going, and you might get a face to face with old Henners.
Bad luck. It's a long way up.
If you can see him from down where you are in your lowly little peasant state. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you again next time. Until then, bye for now.